Welcome to Speak English Podcast with your host, Georgiana, the podcast that will help you to speak English fluently with no grammar and no textbooks.
Hi, everybody. I am Georgiana, your English teacher and founder of SpeakEnglishPodcast.com. My mission is to help you to speak English fluently. Time flies, and it is vital to know how to manage it. So today, I will give you 3 more points to consider regarding the use of time when learning English. I hope you like it. And with a point of view story, you will learn grammar in context without memorizing any boring rules. Before we get started, go to my website, speakenglishpodcast.com/podcast to get the transcript for free. Number 1. Look for situations with few distractions. If there's one thing I'm guilty of, it's spending too much time on the internet. I have a lousy excuse that I do it to get inspired to make new episodes of the podcast. As I say, it's a lousy excuse. Ideally, you want to be in a situation with few distractions. But sometimes that's difficult because we always carry our cell phones with us. In my case, I have found a good solution: walking. When you move, it becomes uncomfortable to look at your cell phone. So, it's a good option to be able to listen to something without getting distracted. You just let yourself go while listening to your English lessons. Also, when you move, more blood gets into your brain and it stays more active. So, I recommend that you find an activity or situation where the level of distraction is low to spend more time listening. Maybe you can take long walks while listening to your lessons. Number 2. Try the 1-minute challenge. I'll tell you a secret. Often, I don't do things because I think it's going to take me too long. It's something I need to get better at. For example, lately, I've been reading on and off. Recently, I was waiting for a friend in a coffee shop. I knew she could arrive at any moment. Psychologically, I figured it's not worth starting to read. She'll be here any minute. So, even though I had my Kindle with me, I didn't read anything and spent my time browsing social media. My friend was about 10 minutes late. If I started reading, I could have had read a few pages. So, here's what I suggest. Try listening to some English content for just 1 minute. You only have to listen for 60 seconds. Then you can stop if you want. The best thing is that many times you will continue listening. Number 3. Change your mindset from sprint to marathon. Finally, it is vital to understand that learning English takes time, even with the best techniques and materials. Therefore, we must change from sprint, which suggests a lot of effort and intensity, to something calmer and more sustained, a marathon. It's about finding the right place that will allow us to continue for many weeks. It's not about running a lot initially only to be exhausted soon after, but the other way around. Start calmly and find the right rhythm and routines. The results will come, but your brain needs some time to assimilate what you learn. Well, I hope I've helped you with these reflections, and of course, also with English. Before we continue, I have something important to tell you. I want you to learn English 3 times faster, and that's why I created a video course. Go to speakenglishpodcast.com and get my video course for free. Okay, now it's time for you to learn grammar in context with a point of view story. I'll tell you a short story more than one time. Every time, I'll change a grammar point. I can change the tense or the person. This way, you'll notice the changes in context. Okay, let's start. Mia was a very determined young woman. She was determined to learn English. She loved coffee, and to motivate herself, Mia thought it would be a great idea to have a cup of coffee for every hour of English audio that she listened to. That way, Mia could associate coffee with studying English. Mia was drinking 10 cups of coffee when she had insomnia. She couldn't sleep after drinking so much coffee. So Mia replaced the coffee with herbal teas, so she wouldn't drink so much caffeine and could sleep at night. After this change, Mia no longer had insomnia, but she had to go to the bathroom all the time because these infusions were diuretics. Now let's hear the same story in the plural. Mia and Olivia were roommates. They were both very determined. They were determined to learn English once and for all. Mia and Olivia loved coffee, and to motivate themselves, they thought it could be a good idea to have a cup of coffee for every hour of English audio. That way, they could associate coffee with studying English. Both Mia and Olivia were drinking 10 cups of coffee when they began to suffer from insomnia. With so much coffee, they couldn't sleep. Finally, Mia and Olivia replaced coffee with herbal teas, so they wouldn't drink so much caffeine and could sleep at night. After this change, The girls no longer had insomnia, but they had to go to the bathroom all the time because these infusions were diuretics. Okay, that's the end of this little exercise. Notice that the changes between grammar points are subtle but important. My advice is not to try to memorize grammar rules. It's better to see the changes in the proper context. And with a story, it is much easier to remember all this. It is one of the techniques that I use in my premium courses. I recommend you to take a look at speakenglishpodcast.com/courses. Okay, we have reached the end of this episode. Remember to listen to it several times. It will help you with your English. Do you know how you can help me? You can share the podcast with your friends and family. Tell them to go to speakenglishpodcast.com and get my free mini course. That would mean a lot to me. Thanks. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy today's episode? Get the transcript now at speakenglishpodcast.com.